law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. He's Hacker.
Talk about a fried egg. I lasted about 5 minutes out there. I said, to heck with this. I'll do this in the morning. And I don't have any inside information. The lady that did it, she got in there. She made it happen.
And he doesn't shy away from opinion.
And I do enjoy drinking cold beer at ballparks. So if that makes me a baseball fan, then I'm a diehard baseball fan.
It's Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
And a very good Wednesday evening to you, Jacksonville. It is Hacker After Dark, 1010XL 92.5 FM with Dylan Denmark. The Hacker Ryan Green with you. Glad you are with us as we now find ourselves 72 hours away from preseason football here in Northeast Florida. The defending world champion, Kansas City Chiefs, roll in. Jacksonville will take them on Everbank Stadium Saturday night. Of course, you'll hear the game right here on 1010XL Radio. And out in Kansas City, the word today from Chiefs head coach Andy Reid is that the Kansas City starters will play about a quarter on Saturday night. So Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, and the offense will probably get a series, maybe 2 series. So there'll be a nice test for Ryan Nielsen's defense, a defense that has looked awfully good through the first 2+ weeks here of training camp. But there is a ton to get into tonight revolving around the Jacksonville Jaguars. That'll be primarily what we do, although we're not going to start there. I'll get into that in a moment. But as far as our Jaguar conversations, my one-on-one training camp one-on-one today, Terrell Edmunds, safety for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Really interesting story. Former first-round pick of the Pittsburgh Steelers, played in both Philadelphia and Tennessee last year, was actually part of the Kevin Byard trade that sent Byard to Philadelphia. He came to Tennessee in that trade. The guy has started 75-plus games in the National Football League, and he finds himself in the position here of trying to battle his way on for a roster spot. With the Dewey Wingard injury, we'll see what happens, but it's, an interesting stat of the night, I guess. You take Terrell Edmunds and the new guy they brought in last night, Adrian Amos, you're talking 200-plus starts at safety, and both guys are going to have to battle their tails off just to be on this 53-man roster. But Terrell Edmunds, I think you'll enjoy that conversation. He's played for Mike Tomlin. He's played for Mike Vrabel. Now he's playing for Doug Peterson. He'll talk about that. He'll talk about what brought him to Jacksonville and what he's looking to get out of Saturday night's game against Kansas City. Also, Jason Cole, a longtime writer for the National Football League. He's with the 33rd team now. He is a Pro Football Hall of Fame voter. He is the author of numerous sports books, really good ones, bestsellers, as a matter of fact. Jason Cole will join us coming up here in about 40 minutes or so, and we will talk NFL, Jaguars, AFC South, and more with Jason Cole. So we're absolutely loaded. We're glad you're with us on a Wednesday here in Northeast Florida. Every night on Hacker After Dark, we do give you a big deal of the night. And Dylan Denmark, let's do that right now.
Time now for the big deal of the night.
What's the big deal? What is the big deal?
No big deal. It is a big deal.
On Hacker After Dark.
Primarily Jaguar talk, but I want to begin with a little college football. Yeah, remember that? 17 days from today, ladies and gentlemen. 17 days. The college football season kicks off in Dublin, Ireland, Florida State and Georgia Tech. And speaking of Florida State, Mike Norvell and the Seminoles were in town today. They will be in town tomorrow holding a 2-day practice here in Jacksonville before heading back to Tallahassee and making at that point what'll be final preparations. You would have to imagine they'll be on a plane for Ireland 4 or 5 days before kickoff minimum. So they're less than 2 weeks away from traveling across the pond to get ready to kick off their 2024 season. So it got me thinking. We're 17 days away from that. We're 24 days away from Florida and Miami from Georgia and Clemson, just to name a few. So we'll get more into college football as we get those days closer and closer. But 2.5 weeks is 2.5 weeks. We're on the doorstep of college football season. And in talking about the 4 schools here locally, I just real quick wanted to give some thoughts and some expectations I have for them. Again, a Cliff Notes version. We'll dive more into this next week, and we'll certainly dive more into this the week of the Florida State-Georgia Tech opener in Dublin. But Florida State, let's begin there because they were in town today. They lost a lot of guys. There were a lot of guys that played in the Garnet and Gold last year. They're going to be playing on Sunday afternoons in the NFL this year. It's only natural Florida State's going to take a step back. You know how I know that? Because they went 13-0 in the regular season. You can't do any better than 13-0 in the regular season. I look at their schedule. I see at Notre Dame, at Miami, Clemson, Florida. We'll see. I think Florida State's going to be very good. I think they're probably the favorites to win the ACC, and I do believe they're going to be competing for the playoffs. But they're not going to go 13-0. I would say 10-2 probably is an early thought I have. At Notre Dame's tough. Maybe they slip up and lose another one, perhaps at Miami. But I still think it's going to be a very good year for Florida State. For Georgia, it's clearly the playoff or a complete failure. It's probably an SEC championship or a complete failure. And if Georgia doesn't get minimum to the semifinals, the Final Four, it's a complete failure. That is what Kirby Smart has built with that machine in Athens. It's sad to almost say this, but a 10-2 first-round loss in the playoff would be deemed a failure in Athens. They are expected to compete, and most people are picking them to win the national championship. I think they're going to be right in the mix. I expect them to be one of the Final Four teams standing. Miami always wins the offseason. Will they actually win games in the regular season this year? I think they will because their schedule, quite frankly, is not hard. Their schedule is pretty easy. If they beat Florida on August 31st, they're at minimum going to start, 4-0, 5-0 before they get into their conference slate. And I don't particularly think their conference slate is all that hard. Miami, if they are who they believe they are, they should at minimum be a 10-2 football team this year and competing for the playoffs. And as far as Florida, give me 7-5 right now. I'd sign on the dotted line. I know that that's way down compared to the other 3 teams we cover, but that's the reality of the situation in my opinion. With the schedule, the talent, which I do believe they do have some talent, but I would take 7-5 right now. And I would imagine most of you Florida Gator fans listening would also take 7-5 right now. So we'll get into it more and more as we get closer. Again, 2.5 weeks away from Florida State, Georgia Tech, Dublin, Ireland, Saturday, August the 24th, to kick off the college football season. Quickly back to the Jaguars. Again, our Jaguar training camp one-on-one, Terrell Edmonds, former first-round pick of the Pittsburgh Steelers. He comes up in less than 10 minutes. I did want to play you some thoughts of Jaguar defensive coordinator Ryan Nielsen, and I applaud Ryan Nielsen for this. You'll remember last night we were breaking down the depth chart, man. The depth chart was released before the Kansas City game. We were diving in. It was called the unofficial depth chart. Well, Jaguar defensive coordinator Ryan Nielsen was asked about that depth chart earlier this morning.
No comment. Well, we talk with Coach, but he's obviously got the final say. But he does an awesome job of, ask the staff, what do you think on the players and everything. But he's the one that's signing off on everything. The depth chart is etched in sand, so it can change. It really, it could be game to game, playing time. I mean, we take this thing. We've talked about this. It's a one day at a time. Every single day counts. Every rep counts. Doesn't matter who that rep is against. We're evaluating that player for what he's done on that particular rep on tape. That matters, in every aspect of the program. So, yeah, if the first one comes out, yeah, it's the first one. You have to put the name somewhere, right? Yeah, it's something you have to do. Probably look for a different depth chart the next time, because this game will be, move some guys around.
The depth chart is etched in sand this time of year. The only reason they do it is I think the NFL requires them to do it. I think every NFL team put out a depth chart yesterday before preseason week number 1, which, by the way, kicks off tomorrow. There's a couple of games tomorrow. You got games Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday as all 32 NFL teams kick off week 1 of the preseason. The more I hear Ryan Nielsen talk, the more I'm in those press conferences at the Miller Electric Center, the more I watch him on the field, the more I talk to the defensive guys that are playing for him this year, I like him. I like him a lot. Admittedly, I didn't know a lot about Ryan Nielsen 6 months ago. I'm willing to bet you didn't either. I knew he was the defensive coordinator in Atlanta, and I knew he was in New Orleans before that, and that was pretty much the extent of my knowledge on Ryan Nielsen. But I got to tell you, I'm trying not to get too high on this hire. Again, training camp, and we'll wait to see what happens in the preseason. But the way this defense has performed, the way that young secondary is performing during almost every practice that we're at, the Ryan Nielsen effect is what I'm calling it. The attitude, the moxie, the chip on the shoulder that the defense seems to play with. Whenever they make a play on the offense, they let the offense know about it. There's some talking going on out there. You didn't see a lot of that from the Jaguars under Mike Caldwell. You're going to see a lot of it with Ryan Nielsen, and I'm all for it. I love it. And right now on the surface, again, very, very early, understandably, but all we have to go on is these first couple of weeks of training camp, OTAs, and minicamp, etc. 2 thumbs up for me for the hire of Ryan Nielsen to be the Jaguar defensive coordinator. One of the guys that's trying to earn a spot on Ryan Nielsen's defense is a former first-round pick in the National Football League of the Pittsburgh Steelers. The guy has started over 75 games in the NFL with Pittsburgh, Philadelphia, and Tennessee. His name is Terrell Edmunds. He's a safety for the Jacksonville Jaguars. He's battling, and he's a good interview. The guy's been around the block. He's seen a thing or two. He's played for coaches like Mike Tomlin, like Mike Vrabel, now Doug Peterson. He's got a lot of experience. I think you're going to find some of what he says interesting. My Jaguar training camp one-on-one with Jaguar safety Terrell Edmunds comes up next. Wednesday night, Jacksonville, Florida, with Dylan Denmark, the Hacker Ryan Green with you. It's Hacker After Dark.
Let's go behind the curtain at 1010XL.
Next time it'll be flawless.
It's still the flea circus. It's all an illusion.
When we have control again.
You never had control. That's the illusion.
1010XL.
You totally undersold it.
Now, a 1010XL Summer Olympic Update. Brought to you by USAPark.net Airport Parking.
Westwood One Sports presents this special update on the 2024 Summer Games. Sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Protect the stuff you love with Renters Insurance. Visit Progressive.com. Quincy Hall headlines the night on the track at Stade de France. The Kansas City native comes from behind to win gold in the men's 400 meters. He edged out Matthew Hudson-Smith of Great Britain. Noah Lyles is on to the final in the 200 meters after coming in second in his semifinal heat. Lyles has already won gold in the 100 in Paris. And Sarah Hildebrandt from Granger, Indiana, is the Olympic wrestling champion at 110 pounds. Hildebrandt shut out Cuba's Yusnelis Guzman Lopez in the final. Team USA now has 27 gold medals. They lead the way in that category and the overall medal count with 94. China a distant second with 65. With this Summer Games update, I'm Ted Emmerich, Westwood One Sports.
Why'd the kid jump off the boat?
I don't know. Why?
Peer pressure.
Oh. Good one, Ned.
Ned isn't funny, but Ned owns a boat, and you don't. So every time Ned tells another one of his unfunny boat puns, you're going to laugh loud and keep on laughing until you get a boat of your own.
A pier where you put a boat.
Yeah, I get it.
And when you do get a boat of your own, make sure you save money by bundling it with your home, auto, or other vehicles with Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states.
At Lowe's, save big every day. Right now, get a free pneumatic nailer when you buy a pallet of Metabo HPT nails. Plus, save an extra 5% every day on eligible purchases when you use your Lowe's business credit card. Because Lowe's knows savings. Lowe's knows pros. Selection varies by location while supplies last. Discount taken at time of purchase. See sales associate for details. 5% offer subject to credit approval. Exclusions and terms apply. See store Lowe's.com/credit for details.
Hey, Hicken here. I couldn't be any happier than to join the George Moore Chevrolet family. When I say family, I mean it. Visit their beautiful showroom today off Atlantic Boulevard. Find out exactly what I'm talking about. No pressure, just friendly help. And whether you want a car, a truck, SUV, electric, pre-owned, you name it, George Moore Chevrolet has it. And if you can't make it over to Atlantic Boulevard, no problem. MooreChevy.com is easy to navigate as any site you will try. It's never been more easy to use. George Moore Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
Visionaries, builders, and doers, are you ready to change the world? Miller Electric is your opportunity to shape the future. Miller Electric is leading the charge in electric vehicle technology with our state-of-the-art EV Innovation Design Center. We're working to create a sustainable future. We're also the proud partners of the Jacksonville Jaguars, powering their performance at the brand-new Miller Electric Center. Miller Electric, we provide competitive pay, unbeatable benefits. Apply today. MillerCareers.com. Miller Electric, an equal opportunity employer.
Did it rain a lot this morning?
No, it was nice and sunny.
Well, the backyard's kind of swampy.
Huh, yeah. Especially where the septic tank is.
Oh, no. When was the last time we had our septic tank pumped?
Don't neglect your septic. Just call Duck Duck Rooter, your local plumbing and septic experts. DuckDuckRooter.com. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
When you're stuck, call the Duck. 904-862-6769.
Like to learn how to fly an airplane? Well, you're not alone. High Flying Jacko here, inviting you to listen Sunday morning. We'll start your aviation career with a 60-minute ride on the airwaves of 1010XL. The High Flying Show, Sunday at 9 on 1010XL.
Blue here for the Blue Crab House, located right off of San Jose. It's on Jewington Creek Road. They've been around since 1996. Indoor-outdoor dining. Also, takeout is available at the Blue Crab House. Open 4:30 to 9, Tuesday through Saturday. Sunday, noon until 9. Remember, Tuesday, $2 margaritas. Wednesday, $1 oyster night. How about the blue crabs? How about my personal favorite, the Canadian snow crabs? Whatever it is that you fancy, you get it right there. The Blue Crab House.
Hey, David again with Royal Pest Services. TAP Insulation stands for thermal, acoustic, and pest control. Keep your home cool, noise out, and pests dead. Visit RoyalPestServices.com to schedule a free inspection.
Vegas, baby. This is Taylor Dahl from Helmets and Heels, and we're sending one lucky listener to Circa Resort and Casino this December. Win a free 3-night stay with $200 food and beverage credit, plus a daybed at Stadium Swim. With 6 temperature-controlled pools and a massive 143-foot screen at Circa, you'll huddle up with the Heels at the Overhang Bar for our pregame tailgates on Friday with drink specials and giveaways. For a chance to win this all-in package to Circa with Helmets and Heels, enter at 1010XL.com/Vegas.
And if you've already booked your flight to Vegas for the big game and are still searching for accommodations, Circa Resort and Casino has a special rate just for Jacksonville fans. Mia here, and for just $500, get a 3-night stay at Circa, $200 in food and beverage credit, plus a day bed at Stadium Swim. With 6 temperature-controlled pools and a massive screen, it's the world's largest hot tub party. The all-in package is only available till August 30th, so act now. Book and join the Heels in Vegas. Visit CircaLasVegas.com today.
Hey folks, this is Dave Benyon with my son Ammon here from Zero Res. Ammon, you've been cleaning air ducts for a while now. What are some of the reasons customers might consider getting their air ducts cleaned?
There are many reasons. Many times, people suffer needlessly from poor indoor air quality produced by the conditions in their air system. Construction dust, the presence of bacterial growth, and years' worth of buildup all come together to make your air ducts a pretty gross place. If you suffer from allergies, have recently moved, recently remodeled, or have never had your air ducts cleaned, then now is the best time to call. By calling Zero Zero Res, you'll have the peace of mind of knowing that you called the best of the best. Our state-of-the-art truck mount system and top-of-the-line service representatives simply can't be found anywhere else. Google Zero Res and read thousands of 5-star reviews.
So what kind of deals can I expect?
Just mention that you heard us on the radio, and we'll give you $100 off your air duct cleaning.
Wow, that sounds like a pretty great deal. Remember, folks, Zero Res,
spelled forward or backwards, it's the right way to clean.
Jags fans, a new Everbank Performance account could be your ticket to London this October. Through the Everbank London Getaway, one lucky winner and a guest will receive round-trip airfare, hotel accommodations, and a pair of tickets to see the Jags play in London. To learn more and for official rules, visit everbank.com/London. No person necessary to enter or win. Open to legal residents of 50 United States and D.C. 18 or older. Entry period for the Everbank London Getaway Suites is from 8/5/24 to 9/5/24. To enter in for official rules, alternate method of entry, prize description, odds of winning, and other details, visit everbank.com/London. Sponsor and administrator, Everbank N.A.
At Cannons of Jacksonville, they know that when you're towing anything, you gotta have products you can rely on. With over 50 years of fabrication expertise, the family at Cannons can repair or install precisely what you need to tow with confidence. Whether it's a heavy-duty hitch, trailer frame, gooseneck, tow bar, or any other towing accessory, Cannons will provide you with unmatched precision and durability. For all your towing needs, visit cannonsofjacks.com, where quality and customer satisfaction collide.
Are you a meat lover searching for quality cuts? Southern Steer Butcher uses a vacuum tumbler to marinate and tenderize our chicken and world-famous steak tips.
Now open in Ortega. For tasty tips and juicy breasts, choose Southern Steer Butcher.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Get up on it.
This is Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
Yes, it is. Glad you are with us. A lot of Jaguar talk from now up until 10 o'clock tonight. Justin Lewis, Florida Times Union, Jacksonville.com. In the 9 o'clock hour, Jason Cole, longtime writer, reporter for the National Football League, a Pro Football Hall of Fame voter, comes up in about 20 minutes. But, as I do every day, have a training camp one-on-one down at the Miller Electric Center. Today I took a little bit of a different path, just because I think it's an interesting story. A guy that has started over 75 games in the NFL. A guy that was a former first-round pick in 2018 of the Pittsburgh Steelers. And a guy that I think has had a pretty good camp. A guy that might sneak his way onto this roster that we haven't really talked that much about. Terrell Edmunds was with both Philadelphia and Tennessee last year, spent the majority of his career with Mike Tomlin and the Pittsburgh Steelers. He now is here in Jacksonville. I had the opportunity earlier today to catch up with Jaguar safety Terrell Edmunds. Jaguars wrapping up training camp practice, Miller Electric Center. We're 3 days out from the preseason opener. We got Jaguar safety Terrell Edmunds here with us on 1010XL. Terrell, how we doing?
Man, I'm doing well. Definitely feel a little tired. You know, it's hot outside right now, but, man, we're excited. Another great day of practice today.
Full pads again. I mean, it's been a lot of full padded practices here. You got a smile on your face, a lot of physicality going on out there. How's it going?
You know, it just brings the competitive nature when you have the pass on. Everybody's just out there competing, trying to make each other better. And, you know, just as a team, we're just getting better each and every day.
We always hear the DBs, the linebackers, the D linemen, they're talking about Ryan Nielsen. We see you guys getting hyped on every play you guys are making. It's a different feel here than we've had in years past. What has Ryan Nielsen and this staff brought to you guys?
You know, Coach Nelson and the staff, they're just trying to bring that energy every day. They're trying to just make sure everybody know that we're competing. We're going against our offense, but we got to play our style of defense each day in practice. Every day is like a game day. Go out there and compete, put your game face on, and let's go out there and make plays.
A lot of young guys in that secondary. Jarian Jones, DeAndre Prince, a second-year guy, and Antonio Johnson. You being a veteran in this league, what are you seeing out of some of the young guys in that DB room?
You know, just the eagerness to learn. They're really just out there just trying to soak up everything, be a sponge of the game, going out there just making the calls, being confident with it, and trying to help out the best way they can, regardless wherever they get put. They go out there, play to their best ability, play fast, play smart, and go out there and just help the team.
We talk about iron sharpening iron. You got Trevor Lawrence, Evan Ingram, Christian Kirk, Gabe Davis, Brian Thomas, obviously, going up against these guys every day. How do you think that offense is looking right now?
Man, you know, they're looking good. both sides of the ball, we're still competing. We're both just, like you said, iron sharpens iron. And, you're going to get some of the best guys, and I think they're going to get some of the best guys on defense as well. So each and every day is going to help the team out in the long run, in that long stretch. And January, February, when we're really going out there trying to get it, these days are going to pay off.
Let's talk about you a little bit. 79 career starts in the NFL, former first-round pick. You had a lot of opportunity, I'm sure. What was it about Jacksonville? What led you here?
Just the opportunity, and then just the scheme and everything, and I just felt comfortable. So when getting out here, getting on the grass, it's everything that I could ask for. So now it's just going out there wherever they put me, just go out there, try to help the team out, make plays, and do what I came to do.
It's an interesting situation because you're bringing a veteran presence. They just signed Adrian Amos, who's bringing a veteran presence. Young guys need that, right? There's going to be a lull in camp. People are going to get tired, and guys like you have been through the grind. You can kind of stay on these young guys.
Nah, you're right. Even guys like Trey Flowers, me, Adrian, all the older guys that they brought in, it's just, guys that have been through it, like you said, and again, it's just iron sharpening iron. Guys that played at a high level for multiple years, so now just having that person to hold you to that standard, I think that's good for the younger guys, and they're just gravitating to it, and even some of the younger guys as vets here, they're still out here competing, so we're having a good time.
Final moments with Terrell Edmonds. You played for Mike Tomlin in Pittsburgh. Now you're here with Doug Peterson in Jacksonville. Mike Vrabel a little bit last year. You got a pretty good resume of head coaches, man. What's it like now to play for Coach Peterson? Compare and contrast him with maybe some of your other guys.
Man, they all just talk about winning football. I think that's a common theme when you're going around great coaches, people that love the game. It's just all about winning. It's not so much about winning your conference or doing anything like that. We're always talking about the Super Bowl. You're not staying small-minded. You're thinking about the big picture, and it's one game at a time. So each and every day, we all have the same common goal. We know each and every play, every walk-through rep, everything is in order to go to that common goal, and I think that's the biggest thing I can say that compares with every one of the head coaches I had before.
As we begin to wrap up, Saturday night, you finally get to hit somebody else, right? I know, tempers flared a little bit earlier in the week. It's that time of camp, but finally you go against the defending world champions, albeit preseason. How excited are you for that opportunity?
Man, I'm excited. Just to go out there and put the pass on against somebody else. You're still taking them all the way to the ground now instead of just the thud up that we do in practice. And, it's just a good chance to compete with new faces, going against new schemes, and going out there just showing what you can do. So just go out there, play fast, play comfortable, be yourself, and I think that's the biggest thing I can do now.
Final question. You were signing a bunch of autographs, a man of the people out there. You get in front of these fans on Saturday night at Everbank Stadium. Fans have been great in training camp, supporting you guys. What's your message to them when the ones coming out on Saturday night?
Man, thank you for your support always. We know it's going to be live. We know it's going to be loud. We're excited. Hopefully you guys are excited, and hopefully we can give you guys a good show on Saturday.
Terrell, welcome to Jacksonville.
Thank you.
There you go. Terrell Edmonds with us here on Hacker After Dark. As always, thank you to the Jaguar PR staff for helping us out as they do every single day. And that just speaks again. That's a good football player. Terrell Edmonds is a good football player. You don't start for Mike Tomlin. You don't get drafted in the first round by Mike Tomlin and the Pittsburgh Steelers and play there for 4 years and start 70-some-odd games for that Steeler defense unless you're a good football player. You then go to Philadelphia. You're included in a trade to Tennessee. Terrell Edmonds was actually on that Titan team that beat Jacksonville in Week 18 last year that eliminated the Jaguars from the playoffs. This guy knows what he's doing out there. But he comes to Jacksonville now and has got to battle and fight and scratch and claw to get on the 53-man roster, which speaks to what I talked about last night. And I saw Trent Baalke out at practice today, gave him a kind of a thumbs up, kind of a nod. How you doing, Trent? That sort of thing. Not sure if he noticed that, Denmark, or not, but I felt that he noticed deep inside. I've been fighting the Trent Baalke fight for a long, long time. Has Trent Baalke done some things wrong? Yes, he has. Has he made some mistakes? Absolutely. But he's done an awful lot right. He has changed the makeup of this roster in 2.5 calendar years, made this team a contender, made this team a playoff team, given this team expectations, and now has made this team the deepest it's been in a long, long time. They're going to have to cut good players because they're simply not going to have room on the 53-man roster for them. So again, as I've said the entire last 5 or 6 months. Tip of the cap, 2 thumbs up to Trent Baalke and his team for the job they did this offseason in building this roster. It's deep. Because when you got guys like Terrell Edmonds, you bring in Adrian Amos, and they're going to have a hard time making this roster. Goes to show you how quickly this team has improved in just a couple of years' time. More on the Jacksonville Jaguars coming up. My buddy Jason Cole has covered the league for years. He's with the 33rd team now. He's been a member of the Pro Football Hall of Fame voting club for, golly, well over a decade. Jason Cole is a terrific resource to talk football with. I want to talk to him not only about the team, but about the stadium, about what's going to happen when it goes in front of the owners in October for approval. We're going to talk about all that with a guy that's covered the league for decades. My pal Jason Cole talking Jaguars, AFC South, and more. That's next. Wednesday night, Jacksonville, Florida. 1010XL, 92.5 FM. Hacker After Dark.
Share your life with 1010XL. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram.
Oh, wait. I'm going to take a picture and post it on Facebook. What? Hashtag
1010XL.
Awaken 180 weight loss. Awaken 180 weight loss. I was down at Jaguar training camp earlier today. Had a couple of people in the stands yelling down, Hacker, you're looking good, man. Hacker, very nice. You know, that's never getting old. Because I did not get that for many, many years. In fact, I got the exact opposite of that. But when you lose 85 pounds in 5.5 months, just think about that for a second. Think about going to a gym. Pick up a 45-pound weight, a 35 or a 25-pound weight, a 10-pound weight, and a 5-pound weight. 85 pounds. That's what I'm down in 5.5 months, thanks to Awaken 180 Weight Loss. The best weight loss program I've ever been on. If it's time for you to lose weight like it was for me, do what I did. It can change your life. Trust me. Go to awaken180weightloss.com or call 844-346-1800 and check out Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer, he hears things differently. To the untrained ear, everything on his shop floor might sound fine, but he can hear gears grinding or a belt slipping. So he steps in to fix the problem at hand before it gets out of hand. And he knows Grainger's got the right product he needs to get the job done, which is music to his ears. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Bueller Air and Plumbing presents Are You Cool?
Today's challenger, an asphalt marketer from Jacksonville, Florida. Meet Sheldon Fish. Today's category, air conditioner repair experts in Jacksonville, Florida.
Oh, I bet it's going to be Bueller.
Your question. Unlike Jacksonville, the Sahara Desert has a complete lack of air conditioner repair experts. What kind of camels do they ride?
That's not really a question about air conditioner repair.
5 seconds.
But that's a camel question.
Pick a camel, Sheldon.
The Arabian dromedary.
That's right, Sheldon. Like the majestic Arabian dromedary, the skilled technicians at Bueller Air and Plumbing can repair any make and model of air conditioner the same day you call, making sure you are cool.
They don't spit, do they?
No, but Steve, the new guy, has a bit of a hump.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
Brian and Angela Wall here with Window World. Hurricanes happen in Florida. That's not news. But what happens even more often than hurricanes are home break-ins. And if security is important to you, you might want to look into hurricane-rated impact windows.
What you may not know is that hurricane-rated impact windows not only help protect your home in case of a hurricane, but they also offer another level of security for your home.
Have you seen those videos on YouTube that show people trying to break through an impact window? A thief is way too lazy to spend his energy trying to break through one of our impact windows. That's why he doesn't have a real job like you. He'd rather break your non-impact window while you're at work. Window World has high-quality, very affordable hurricane-rated impact windows to help protect your home from hurricanes and from lazy thieves.
Call us today at 904-443-7001. Get a free estimate and see for yourself. You save energy, get more security, and the windows add value to your home. With all Window World windows, you get the best guarantee in the window replacement business.
Window World, simply the best for less. And thank you for your business.
Brackish Vodka, the official vodka of UNF Athletics, 100% made in Jacksonville, is available at all local liquor stores. Visit Browdy's, Total Wine, ABC, Shores, Golden, Sahara's, Golden Ox, and more. Drink our gluten-free San Francisco Spirit award-winning vodka and see why it's the smoothest vodka you can buy. When you drink Brackish Vodka, you support all of our local employees, and all the money stays in Jacksonville. Drink Brackish Vodka and live life slightly salty. Proud partner of the Jaguars.
Join the fun with XL Primetime, Friday at Firehouse Subs in San Marco. Get pictures and autographs from Jags players, cheerleaders, and Jackson DeVille. 2 to 4 Friday at Firehouse Subs in San Marco.
What's the highest number of touchdown passes thrown in one NFL game?
When you call Southern Oak and file a claim, you'll be handled by our hand-picked vendors who will analyze any roof, storm, or water damage. It'll save money for you.
Our family protecting yours. Southern Oak Insurance.
4 NFL quarterbacks have thrown 7 touchdown passes in one game. Drew Brees, Nick Foles, Peyton Manning, and Joe Cap.
Southern Oak Insurance. Our family protecting yours.
For over 40 years, Play It Again Sports has served its customers with a winning, sustainable shopping model. Could say, we were recycling before recycling was cool. Save on quality used sporting goods for baseball, softball, lacrosse, hockey, golf, tennis, and more. Or sell us your gently used gear. We buy all sports, all seasons, and offer cash on the spot. Stop by Play It Again Sports today on Merrill Road near 295 or online at playitagainsports.com.
Does the building you go to work in every day need a little love and attention? Jason Parker here with Performance Painting. Great companies take great care of the buildings their staff and customers walk into every day. If the building you're in doesn't match the vision you have for your company, we can help. Go to performance-painting.com. Our highly trained team makes the difference. Quality coatings applied with pride.
Performance Painting.
Hey gang, Hicken here for Zero Res. Man, it is hot outside this time of the year. Many of us are staying inside or going to the pool. Well, my friends at Zero Res are also heating things up. As you know, Zero Res does a great job of cleaning carpets and rugs. But they also clean luxury vinyl planking, tile and grout, fine stone and hardwood floors. And right now, the hottest price of the year, 25% off all hardwood cleaning. That's 25% off tile, LVP, fine stone, and hardwood floors. Zero Res, man, spell it forward. Zero Res, spell it back. It's the right way to clean.
Zero Res.
Frank Frangie here for Stanley Pools. You know, pool design has come a long way, and if your pool is outdated, Stanley Pools specializes in bringing older pools up to date for the whole family to enjoy. That's why I did it a few years ago, and man, I love the way my pool looks now after we added travertine pavers and so much else. Stanley Pools has been serving our community since 1988, so call them today at 269-7277 or find them online at stanleypoolsfl.com. That's Stanley Pools, a family tradition of fine swimming pools.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, another great guest on the Garber Auto Mall phone line.
Hello.
We can wiggle it.
Back here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville. We are glad you are with us. The NFL preseason kicks off Saturday night here in Jacksonville as Kansas City rolls in. Of course, you'll hear the game right here on 1010XL radio as the Jaguars kick off the preseason in hopes of turning around a disappointing 2023 campaign. With that, Jason Cole has covered the NFL for years. He's the author of many books, and he is also a Pro Football Hall of Fame voter. And Jason's always kind enough to join us here on 1010XL radio. Jason, it's been a little while, man. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you doing, Ryan?
Jason, we're good, man. Thank you for the time. I know it's a busy time of year, and let's kind of rewind before we look forward. I've called it maybe the most consequential offseason in Jaguar history, from the re-signings of Joshua Hines-Allen and Trevor Lawrence to the stadium here in Jacksonville being passed by the city council. Just your thoughts on what the Jaguars have been able to accomplish both on and off the field over the last 6 months.
Well, I mean, there's, obviously this is huge steps towards stability for the franchise, and, long-term, any notion that they might move, that they are going to do some serious relocation, even the sort of absurd ideas that they might go to Europe somewhere, like London, get quieted significantly by this, right? Or if not, just completely drowned out. So that's all good. The stadium is a huge help to that. Trevor Lawrence, plays a large role in that. Keeping him was important. Investing in him because quarterbacks give you hope. Number one quarterbacks tend to give you even more hope. And even though I would say some of his play has been uneven, it's mostly promising. So people are still sort of behind the Jags in large part because of Trevor Lawrence, not in spite of. So I think generally you're trending the right way. This has been promising, but it would be nice if there was a payoff on the field, if that makes sense. And I think there's some trepidation based on last year. Like, wait a sec, I thought we were going to step up and become a more dominant team and become a factor, and they didn't do that last year.
There's no doubt about that. It was a terrible ending to the season, and we'll get to that moving forward in a moment. But you're one of the guys to ask. You've covered the league for years. I've been told that it's a mere formality. The owners will approve that stadium in October. Is that normally the way it goes, Jason? When the city approves it, it goes for NFL owners' approval. It's a mere formality at that point?
Well, yeah, right, because you're not going to present something to the owners that has a hint that they're going to reject it. And the Cons have been working at this too long to accept a deal, to take a deal with the city and agree to a deal with the city that they weren't happy with. So if you have that going, I think it is a formality. The only time you wouldn't have that is if you have sort of teetering ownership and a teetering value of the team. And look, as much as Jacksonville, the Jaguars are always going to be serving the bottom quartile of the league in terms of overall value. They have improved the value of the team significantly enough from where it was. And I think that there's an acceptance among NFL owners that there's just an upper limitation to what that team will ever be worth. And I mean that by they all want to see the values of their teams increase as much as possible, but there is also a nod to their stability, and you don't want to just move your teams all the time in chasing dollars for franchise value. So I think they're satisfied enough with where they are with Jacksonville, given all of the other circumstances, and given the fact that relocating teams is A, not as easy, and B, causes an awful lot of blowback publicly. Like when they moved the Rams and the Raiders and the Chargers all at one time, that was not a pleasant experience for the league.
Jason Cole is a Pro Football Hall of Fame voter. He's with us here on 1010XL in Jacksonville, and that's great news, obviously, with the city council passing it. It goes for NFL owners' approval in October. Now to the on-the-field product, and you talked about Trevor Lawrence, Jason. He's a polarizing figure because it seems that people are very pro-Trevor or very anti-Trevor, and there doesn't seem to be a lot of gray area, and I'm just curious, in your opinion, why you think that is.
Well, I mean, anytime you take quarterback number one overall and then you start to pay him kind of money that you're paying him, there's going to be huge opinions one way or the other. So, and there's always huge opinions about quarterbacks. So that just kind of goes with the territory. But Trevor hasn't made it a lot easier for everybody to embrace him and say, oh, yeah, no question, this guy's got to be the guy, because he didn't make the kind of progress that he needed to make in year three. We're always going to give him sort of a mulligan for year one under Urban Meyer. Nobody's going to penalize him for that. But last year, you were in the stadium. You saw it. I mean, I saw it in games. There were just times he would make a throw, and everybody just go, why are you making that throw?
Mm-hmm.
Like, in no world are you supposed to make that throw. I mean, like, the 8-year-old kid in the pool at the stadium was like, you're not supposed to make that throw. It's just, and when you do that, it undercuts confidence. And it makes people go, oh, he's never going to be this, he's never going to be that. And I don't know if that's true. I mean, he's extremely talented, and you have to invest in talent, especially at that position. And so I'm fully on board with investing in the talent. I just would say I also understand the people who are like, oh, that's not good enough, because it wasn't. It wasn't good enough, and that's not what that's not what you invested in. You know, the kind of effort that you invested in. You want somebody who's going to, look like they did their homework. And there are times that Trevor Lawrence looks like he didn't do his homework. And it goes back to a story that I heard, about him coming out in the draft that made people wonder about him and his sort of dedication to his craft. Not that he's not a good kid or he doesn't work hard or doesn't show up, or he does that. But there was this interview that was done with him in which one team asked him, hey, there was this play when you were at Clemson where this and this happened. It was, I can't remember exactly which play, but I think it was an interception that he threw. And they said, hey, take us through this play. And when you talk to quarterbacks, normally they have this incredible memory bank of situations, game situations, and what they were doing. And you can ask them about big plays, and they'll recall it as if it just happened, 20 seconds ago. Like, oh, okay, here was the situation. It was, 3rd and 8, this and that. They brought up blitz, and they go through it all. And this is why they made their decision. Peyton Manning is the king of that. Aaron Rodgers will do that all the time. Tom Brady does it all the time. I mean, guys like John Elway, Joe Montana, those guys will take you through a play and what they were thinking. And Lawrence goes, yeah, I don't really remember that play. And I'm not saying that, again, it's not to say that he's not dedicated to his craft, but there's an exacting to the job that's just not quite there. And when you don't have that kind of built-in institutional memory about what you're supposed to do, that's you wonder if, and again, I don't want to overdo this, but there is a difference between being really, really good at what you're doing and being great at what you're doing. And you wonder, is he missing that ingredient when you hear little stories like that about Trevor Lawrence? And that's sort of what I'm starting to wonder. At the same time, try going to find one. You guys went through not having great quarterbacks. You know what it's like to not have a guy, or to invest in guys like Blake Bortles and it doesn't turn out. So, you got to live with what you got, and you hope that he comes along and finishes the deal. He gives them a chance to win championships. He just hasn't provided that guy who makes you go, okay, we're going to be on top of the division forever.
And to me, Jason, it kind of speaks to your point. It's the little things with Trevor. I mean, they were 8-3 last year, right? They were in first place in the AFC for a couple of hours in Week 12. But then he'll do things where extend plays and he'll get hurt, like he did against Tampa, or that happened against Cincinnati, or he'll get concussed because he didn't get down quick enough against Baltimore, I believe, or he'll just make some head-scratching plays like Baltimore in the first half before the injury happened. So, yeah, I mean, if he cleans those things up, we'll see what he does. Final Jaguar-related topic, because I want to branch out with you. Trent Baalke. I have beaten the drum defending Trent Baalke, and truthfully, he doesn't get as much criticism here locally as maybe he was getting a year or two ago. Outside of losing Calvin Ridley this offseason, which I think Tennessee overpaid him, that's just my opinion. But outside of that, man, Jason, I thought Baalke was masterclass this offseason. I thought he hit pretty much everything I wanted him to hit. Well, what's your opinion on the job he's done here?
Look, I like the roster. I think that this is a good team. So I don't have any complaints with the job that Trent's done there. And even Calvin Ridley, Calvin Ridley is just a really glorified number 2, isn't he?
Certainly appeared to be that case here last year, yeah.
Yeah, so why are you paying that guy? I don't get that. Now, I'm not really high on the combination of Gabe Davis and Christian Kirk. I don't think that that's dominant, but I think it's good. And I think, again, if Trevor Lawrence is better, then Davis, Kirk, Thomas, and throw Ingram in there because he's really kind of a glorified wide receiver as a tight end, right? Like that becomes a better combination if Lawrence makes them better, right? But in and of themselves, they're not. None of those guys scare you. So, I wonder, but Calvin Ridley keeping him wasn't gonna make him any more fearsome to me. Like you're kind of just switching one guy out for another when you bring in Gabe Davis for Calvin Ridley. It's up to they've either got to play a little bit better or the quarterback's got to make them better. So that's a long way of saying I like the roster, but I do ask this one thing. Where are the true superstar guys on this roster who change the face of the roster and say, no, we're going to be championship level contenders? And I think a lot of good play. Yeah. Now, Trevor Lawrence has to become one of those guys. And so that's missing right now. But who else is it? Is it the corner? Is it, is it one of the defensive linemen? I see a collection of good players. They're missing the great ones. And I don't know if that's Balky's fault or not.
And I don't think that's unfair. Joshua Hines-Allen, to me, is probably the closest thing to that. And he got paid like it this offseason, so certainly a lot of pressure on him. Final moments with Jason Cole, a Pro Football Hall of Fame voter. He's covered the league for years. He's with us here on 1010XL. Jason, you and I did this last year in training camp, and at that point, you could argue the AFC South might have been the worst division in football. It was certainly in the conversation. Man alive, here we are 12 months later. It's not the best, right? I'd still probably give that nod to the AFC North, but the resurgence of the South from 1 to 4 as a whole, probably as good a resurgence of any division in the NFL over the last year.
Well, I mean, if you start with Houston, right? So, Tennessee, I don't know what direction they're going. Now, that'll depend on whether the quarterback, is Levis for real or not. But Houston did what you were hoping Jacksonville was going to do last year, and they did it in 1 year with the addition. The quarterback just made them special. He was a difference maker. And the addition of Will Anderson, while not talked about as much because C.J. Stroud was so good, I thought Will Anderson was a guy who showed flashes like, okay, he's going to be at the very worst a very good to excellent player. Great, we'll see. But that may still be in him. So two guys really changed it. D'Amico Ryan's high energy guy who got the defense playing as well as it could, within its limitations. They have, like Jacksonville, sort of a deep receiving core without necessarily a guy who's a pure star. So it's a really interesting combination. There's another step that they have to make if they're going to be a serious contender. Tennessee, we talked about a little bit. Indianapolis, we'll see about the quarterback. Everything turns on whether the quarterback's going to be good, but the overall roster I like. There's a lot of parts in Indianapolis, but Anthony Richardson's, it's a tough. The transition he's trying to make is really tough. And it's been talked about, ever since he was at Eastside High School in Gainesville. He's going to stay on the field long enough to be able to take advantage of his amazing athletic gifts. He's a really, really good kid. He's a bright kid. He's into it. But you got to be on the field. There's just no, and he's been hurting in high school, he's been hurt in college, and now he's been hurt in the pros. So you got to stay on the field and make that transition. But if those things happen, I can think about a division where you've got Lawrence, Levis, Stroud, and Richardson. Like all of a sudden that could become a power division, very quickly. I like the upside there, and I think it's going to be a great race. I thought Jacksonville was going to start to take control of that division obviously they did not last year when I thought they should have.
And all of those quarterbacks are 25 years old or younger. Jason, final question. Is it Kansas City and everybody else? I mean, is that where we are in the NFL until somebody knocks them off?
Well, yeah. I got 3 titles under Mahomes and back-to-back, and they're shooting for history this year. Yeah, I mean, who else could it possibly be? I mean, San Francisco's really good. And I've been out to see them. You know, they're deep. And even if they trade Ayuk, I expect them to be good. I would doubt that they would trade Ayuk because they're trying to win a Super Bowl. But I just kind of look at this and go, yeah, like Mahomes is getting it done at a level that is a step above everybody else. Even when you have guys who are supremely talented, like Josh Allen up in Buffalo or Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, and next level down from them are guys like Lawrence and Stroud, right? Despite that, Mahomes is dominating over those guys. And he's got a great setup with a great tight end and a great head coach and a well-run organization. And yeah, they're the Kings until somebody knocks them off. And even when people knock them off during the regular season and they don't, this is the really dangerous part about them. They don't care where they play you.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, okay, we need to go on the road. That's fine. We'll go on the road. We'll go into Baltimore. We'll beat you. We have to go here. We'll beat you. We don't care. We're fine. And when you have a team that is that mentally capable, and on top of what they do, it's a rough go to knock them off.
That was the big question last year, and all they did was go into Buffalo in front of Bills Mafia, win that game, then a week later go into Baltimore and win that game and another world championship. Jason Cole, a Pro Football Hall of Fame voter. Jason, seems like you got books coming out pretty often. Anything in the works right now?
One non-sports book that I'm working on, but after that one gets done, I have another project I want to get going on pretty quick. So nothing I can really talk about yet, but the one project that I'd like to get started sooner than later is really great stuff. So I'm hoping to get that going. And, working for the 33rd team, writing columns for them. Really interested in having a great season with them. It'll be a lot of fun.
He's one of our favorites. Jason, I know you're busy time of year. Thank you as always, pal. We'll do it again soon.
Absolutely. Take care. Thank you.
Here's another look behind the microphone at 1010XL with Dan Hicken and Jeff Prosser.
You can't just walk in off the street and do what we do. It takes years and years of training. I mean, let's just let them perform a tracheotomy while we're at it.
Mornings on 1010XL.
This is ridiculous.
Now you can watch 1010XL shows all day on X, Facebook, and YouTube. Brought to you by MyBookie. Experience Vegas from the comfort of your phone anytime, anywhere. Sign up today. Use promo code 1010XL.
Blue here for the Blue Crab House, located right off of San Jose. It's on Jewington Creek Road. They've been around since 1996. Indoor-outdoor dining. Also, takeout is available at the Blue Crab House. Open 4:30 to 9, Tuesday through Saturday. Sunday, noon until 9. Remember, Tuesday, $2 margaritas. Wednesday, $1 oyster night. How about the blue crabs? How about my personal favorite, the Canadian snow crabs? Whatever it is that you fancy, you get it right there. The Blue Crab House.
Oh, no.
You okay in there?
Toilet's backed up. It won't flush.
Okay, I'll call the pros.
The tank isn't filling. The handle does nothing. Run for your life.
Don't be so dramatic. Duck Rooter will fix it.
For any plumbing issue, call Duck Rooter, your local plumbing professionals and proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. DuckDuckRooter.com.
When you're stuck, call the Duck. 904-862-6769.
For a chance to win a family 4-pack of tickets to the Coke Zero Sugar 400 August 24th at Daytona, answer this question. Who has the most victories in the Coke Zero Sugar 400? Text the driver's last name to 641-1010.
The flagship station of the Jacksonville Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
1010XL Weekly is out now. Mia here, and text the word weekly to subscribe to our new 1010XL newsletter and for a chance to win Jaguars and concert tickets. Get an inside look at local sports, trending players, station info, and chances to win prizes all year long.
Here's your 1010XL First Coast Community Calendar.
The Tom Coughlin J Fund helps families battling childhood cancer, and there are ways you can help. Go to tcjfund.org.
City Rescue Mission has been providing food, clothing, and love for over 70 years to the homeless in Jacksonville. If someone you know is struggling, learn more about the City Rescue Mission at crmjax.org.
You have healing power. Even writing a letter or volunteering can help heal a veteran. Find out more at healvets.org.
If you know someone with cancer and no insurance, call the U.S. Uninsured Helpline at 800-234-1317.
Hope Haven believes in children and youth with special needs and abilities and has developed programs to help ensure their success. Find out more about their employment services and internship program at hope-haven.org.
If you're involved in a community event and you'd like us to help spread the word, find out how at 1010XL.com.
Meet David talking about his experience with BioTarget regenerative therapy at injury care centers.
After my first treatment of BioTarget, I noticed the results right away when I left the office. I was having pain in my knee and I was unable to run. After the treatment, I was able to start running again. I was taking like ibuprofen. It really wasn't working. Really didn't want to consider surgery at all, so that's why I seeked out the BioTargeting. You can have here at the Injury Care Center, they're going to give you 100% money-back guarantee for a treatment. I don't know if it gets any better than that. I was amazed about the results. I would definitely recommend this to my friends and family members.
Stop masking your pain with harmful medications. There's a better solution. BioTarget regenerative therapy has helped countless others, and it can help you too. Call 904-92-REGEN or visit gobiotarget.com today.
Vegas, baby. This is Taylor Dahl from Helmets and Heels, and we're sending one lucky listener to Circa Resort and Casino this December. Win a free 3-night stay with $200 food and beverage credit, plus a daybed at Stadium Swim. With 6 temperature-controlled pools and a massive 143-foot screen at Circa, you'll huddle up with the Heels at the Overhang Bar for our pregame tailgates on Friday with drink specials and giveaways. For a chance to win this all-in package to Circa with Helmets and Heels, enter at 1010XL.com/Vegas.
And if you've already booked your flight to Vegas for the big game and are still searching for accommodations, Circa Resort and Casino has a special rate just for Jacksonville fans. Mia here, and for just $500, get a 3-night stay at Circa, $200 in food and beverage credit, plus a day bed at Stadium Swim. With 6 temperature-controlled pools and a massive screen, it's the world's largest hot tub party. The all-in package is only available till August 30th, so act now. Book and join the Heels in Vegas. Visit CircaLasVegas.com today.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
Well, things seem to be going really well up in Seattle post Pete Carroll. This, according to ESPN, within the last 15 minutes or so. At least 5 fights broke out at Seattle Seahawks practice on Wednesday, including one in which star wide receiver DK Metcalf swung a helmet at cornerback Trey Brown.
Nice.
Love the exchange of pleasantries. Hey, we saw it here in Jacksonville on Monday, right? With Buster Brown, Gabe Davis, Christian Kirk. It's that time of year. Need to hit somebody else, man. Thankfully, we begin seeing that tomorrow. 2 preseason games on the docket tomorrow, which means earlier today, both the Carolina Panthers and the Detroit Lions, although I guess Detroit was already in New York for the joint practice, but bear with me. Carolina, at least. Denmark, they got on an airplane, man. We got football. Yeah, we got football tomorrow. 2 games Thursday, 3 games Friday. Boy, a bunch of games Saturday and 2 more games Sunday is all 32. Begin preseason NFL kickoff on tomorrow night is when it begins. couple other things in the National Football League that jumped out today. Boy, Indianapolis has injury problems. Samson Ebukam, their best sack artist last year, 9.5 sacks. He's already out for the year. He tore his Achilles last week. Earlier today, wide receiver Josh Downs goes down with a high ankle sprain. Now, Downs caught 68 passes for 771 yards for the Colts last year. And those high ankle sprains are tricky. They'll tell you 4 to 6 weeks, but those things linger. That's a bad deal for Indianapolis. You could argue he's their second most productive wide receiver behind Michael Pittman. So the Colts have injury problems out of the gate. Unfortunate situation in Atlanta earlier today. Former Arizona Cardinal receiver, current Falcon receiver Rondale Moore went down. Had to be carted off the field with a lower leg injury. Apparently it was one of those bad ones. The Falcons, I believe, actually ended practice. Moore was taken to a nearby medical center. Moore signed there as a free agent from Arizona this offseason. Don't want to speculate, but obviously if they ended practice and he was taken to a nearby medical facility with a lower leg injury, one would assume that's not a good situation. So prayers up for Rondale Moore of the Atlanta Falcons. Denmark, do you read anything into Justin Fields starting for Pittsburgh on Friday in their preseason opener?
No, because I think he's going to be the starter for most of the season.
You do? All right. Now, Mike Tomlin said even though Fields is starting Friday, Russell Wilson is still quarterback one. But that, to me, is going to be one of the craziest dynamics between those two all year long.
No, I think Russell Wilson starts week one, doesn't play good, and then after about 4 or 5 weeks, Justin Fields takes it from there.
I want to bring you the comments of Jaguar offensive lineman Luke Fortner. I had the opportunity to catch up with him a couple of days ago down at the Miller Electric Center. Before we do that, did you see this story? Giants and the Lions play a preseason game tomorrow night. They've been having joint practices. There apparently was a pretty big brawl, a pretty big fight at one of those joint practices. The NFL's mad, man. They're not messing around. They fined both the Giants and the Lions $200,000 for that fight. I can't remember a situation like that. $400,000, $200,000 for each organization in fines due to a fight during a joint practice. I guess the NFL is tired of that sort of thing. It tends to happen a lot. Keep in mind the Tampa Bay Buccaneers come here to Jacksonville next week for a joint practice, I believe, on Wednesday and Thursday. Jaguar offensive lineman Luke Fortner, what a unique position he's been put in. A 2-year starter, 34 starts under his belt. Essentially lost his job when Mitch Morse was signed, but Fortner has taken what could have been a very big negative, sort of turned it into a positive, learning from Mitch Morse, getting some reps at guard to become more valuable along that offensive line. Earlier this week, I had a conversation with Luke Fortner down at the Miller Electric Center. Here is that conversation on Hacker After Dark.
All right, Miller Electric Center, Jaguar training camp, wrapping things up for a Sunday practice. We got Jaguar offensive lineman Luke Fortner here with us. Luke, how we doing?
Oh, we're doing well, man. Got some clouds out today, so can't complain about that.
3 out of the last 4 days, really active physical practices. Look, you guys were doing things today, but kind of a lighter day. I'm sure you guys appreciate that at this point in camp.
Definitely appreciate it. You know, Coach Peterson has a pretty strict regimen of, you know, you got to have those practices in there that are grinders and where, you know, people figure out what it's like to be hit. So he gave us a couple of those, and now today he's taking a step back before we ramp it up tomorrow.
Let's talk about you a little bit. We haven't had a chance to talk during training camp yet. Interesting offseason, obviously, with Mitch's arrival. How has that dynamic worked for you guys? And I understand you're doing some more stuff at guard now. Talk about that transition a little bit.
Yeah, it's been awesome. Anytime you get to learn from a guy who's been playing at such a high level for such a long time, you can't waste that opportunity. So it's been great to have have him learn a bunch of stuff from him, and then bump over to guard and kind of get a feel for what those guys have been doing. And, I think playing guard is just going to make me a better center, better guard, better offensive lineman overall.
How hard is that? I mean, you've been a center, for the last few years at least. I don't know if you did any guard in high school or whatever, but it's got to be a kind of an interesting transition, correct?
Yeah, I did. So I did guard for 5 years in college, moved over for my last year for center, and it's definitely knocking a little bit of rust off, getting the training wheels off a little bit. So it's been good. There's some things I'm definitely better at than I remember, and then some things that I'm not as good at that I remember. So definitely a work in progress.
The offensive line is so interesting. I mean, you talk about guys 25 and under, 26 and under, you, Javon, Anton, a lot of youth in that room. Yeah, when you look at Shatley, Sheriff, Cam, and Mitch, that's like 40 years, man, of NFL experience. Just talk about, how that works in that room, those guys and then the youngsters.
Yeah, I mean, it's a clear, they've been the guys who've been around. They know what it's like to play in the NFL. So just to learn from them and, keep trying to tell, the young guys, Anton, Javon, hey, these guys have been around, right? There's a reason they're still here. They're still around. I think we had one of the rookies compile all the games that the older guys have played combined. So he hasn't given that report yet, but when he does, I'll be sure to report back.
Obviously last year did not end the way you guys wanted it to. I'm sure you've heard, the offensive line in particular, the criticism that's been out there. I mean, between the criticism, the losing 5 out of 6, here we are 6.5, 7 months later. How much of a motivating factor still is that for you guys?
Yeah, obviously it's motivating. It's motivating from, our inner selves. We knew we were going to go to the playoffs, right? And then we were wrong. So you got to figure out where you went wrong, why you thought you were going to and you didn't. And I think for us, before all the outside criticism comes in, we as a unit we were down bad to start, when that happened. But it's obviously a huge motivation. I think the other thing is last year, I think we took too much of what had happened the year before and brought it into last year. So I think there's a balance there of obviously it's motivation, but this is a new team. This is a new unit, you know what I mean? So just trying to balance those two.
A couple of more for Luke Fortner. You got some young guys on the D-line that look pretty hungry. Mason Smith, Jordan Jefferson, Miles Cole among them. What have you seen out of some of the young D-linemen?
Yeah, I mean, they're all big dudes. They're all great players so far. And the biggest thing I've seen from them is they're just all flying around. They're hustling. They're giving effort. No one's too good for anything. They're running around, flying to the ball. So I think from there, you can just let the coaches work and do their job.
Trent Baalke talked about physicality, wanting to improve that. Look, I'm a media guy, right? I mean, I'm not out there getting after like you guys, but from watching it on the sideline, some physical practices. Do you get a sense that maybe this team is a tad more physical than it has been in the years you've been here?
Yeah, I mean, I think like you mentioned earlier, there's that chip on our shoulder from last year, and I think guys are eager to prove that that was a fluke. That's not us, right? So I think that's what you're seeing right now.
Luke, as we wrap up, Trevor gets a contract extension, Josh, Foye, Tyson. What does that mean to the guys in the locker room, this organization taking care of their own?
It means a ton. I mean, when you look at any of those guys, you can name a million different qualities about them, how great people they are. Before they even step up on the football field, they are awesome dudes. So then you combine that with their football prowess, and everyone's just so excited for them, so pumped for them.
Final question. It's game week, right? You guys, I see the smile. OTAs are fun, mini camp, training camp, but you want to hit somebody else, right? You get to do that on Saturday when Kansas City rolls in. How excited are you for that?
We're so excited to hit somebody else. I mean, you go head-to-head with all these great defensive linemen and defensive linebackers, but, they piss you off pretty quick. So it's exciting to get face somebody else here soon.
Luke, best of luck on Saturday. We'll be watching.
Appreciate it, man.
Now, a 1010XL Summer Olympic Update brought to you by
USAPark.net Airport Parking.
Westwood One Sports presents this special update on the 2024 Summer Games. The bar just went higher and higher to more than 16 feet, and Nina Kennedy just kept clearing it. The Aussie soared to gold in the women's pole vault. The defending champion from Tokyo, Katie Moon of the United States, took silver despite an illness that crept up a few days ago. Moon said she got a pep talk from her coach, Brad Walker.
Brad just said, look, just focus as best you can. Just because you feel this way doesn't mean that you can't still execute. You're still fast. You're still whatever else, you're strong. And even if you're down a little bit, you still have all the things you need to execute.
In cycling, the U.S. won gold in women's team pursuit, racing past New Zealand by 0.6 of a second. And now through day 12 in Paris, the U.S. has 27 gold medals and 94 total, topping the charts in both. With this Summer Games update, I'm Ted Emmerich, Westwood One Sports.
Broken bricks, falling fences, damaged doors, Gorilla Glue. Of course. It's incredibly strong and 100% waterproof and bonds, well, virtually everything. While you're at it, look for Gorilla Tape, a heavy-duty double-thick duct tape, and Gorilla Super Glue, great for all your quick fixes and repairs. There's also Gorilla Epoxy, Gorilla Wood Glue, Gorilla Construction Adhesive, of course. You get it. If you can break it, Gorilla can fix it. For the toughest jobs on planet Earth.
At Lowe's, save big every day. Right now, get a free pneumatic nailer when you buy a pallet of Metabo HPT nails. And there's more. Save 10% on select shingles when you buy in bulk. Visit us in-store or online for low prices on the materials you need. Because Lowe's knows savings. Lowe's knows pros. Selection varies by location. While supplies last, discount taken at time of purchase. See sales associate for details.
Here's Linda Beaver.
Hey, school's in session, and here's today's lesson. We have hundreds of certified vehicles to choose from, starting as low as $89.99. Plus, they come with a 7-year, 100,000-mile peace of mind warranty and free oil changes. That means you and your soon-to-be drivers will be protected. Plus, every purchase allows us to fund teachers' projects for the entire school year. Your next assignment, get to Beaver Toyota in St. Augustine or Beaver Chevrolet in Jacksonville. Deadline August 31st. We're here to wow you and our teachers.
Hello, First Coast. I'm sure by now you have seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We're an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We're committed to customer service, reliability, and have an unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today from GFL, Green for Life.
The Reggie Hunt Memorial Golf Classic fundraiser golf tournament is Friday, October 25th at Amelia River Golf Club. All proceeds support Big Brothers Big Sisters. Register at the Big Brothers Big Sisters events page.
Frank Frangie here for Stanley Pools. You know, pool design has come a long way, and if your pool is outdated, Stanley Pools specializes in bringing older pools up to date for the whole family to enjoy. That's why I did it a few years ago, and man, I love the way my pool looks now after we added travertine pavers and so much else. Stanley Pools has been serving our community since 1988, so call them today at 269-7277 or find them online at StanleyPoolsFL.com. That's Stanley Pools, a family tradition of fine swimming pools.
Fish are good at hiding. Captain Kevin can help you find them.
Oh, yeah, that's a big one.
Find more fish on the Ring Power Fishing Forecast Show.
Thursday nights at 6.
Brought to you by Awaken 180 Weight Loss on 1010XL AM.
Nick in here for About 9 Associates, where you'll find Jacksonville's most esteemed eye doctors at each of their locations. After being selected for one of the most competitive ophthalmology fellowships in the world, Dr. Frank Bowden is frequently called upon for his expert opinion. He is currently one of the few cornea and external disease specialists in the area and the founder of Bow 9. Visit Bow 9 Associates today and experience the difference. Bow 9 Associates, keeping the First Coast focused.
I'm with Greg from Cycles of Jacksonville, and now that you have Honda boats on the showroom floor, tell them about the big boat sale.
We are excited. We got a big sale, 11th through 13th. You want to come on down, see us in person. Some of our boats are going to be up to 30 grand off.
Up to 30 grand off?
30,000 in savings. It's a big sale event.
So they can start shopping online at cyclesofjacksonville.com. The size of the boats?
Anywhere from 19 to 24 foot, all with legendary Honda outboards.
Honda and Coach, check them both out on Atlantic near Regency. Cycles of Jacksonville.
Now that's what I call high-quality H2O.
If you want high-quality water in your home at a fair price that won't scare you to death, then talk to someone who knows water and is not a pushy salesman. Contact your local water boy, Keith. I install premium equipment and can repair or even rebuild your existing system. In a business known for aggressive sales tactics, let me show you how my approach is different. If you've got any water problems, contact the water boy at waterboyjack.com.
Ever wonder how you can transform your living spaces into captivating works of art? At First Coast Lighting and Fans, they offer a huge selection of high-quality products to match your desire for elegance, quality, and uniqueness. Visit their showroom on Phillips Highway at the Avenues and step into a world of quality without compromise. Discover the difference that locally owned expertise makes and let them help you experience the transformation from average to extraordinary. At First Coast Lighting and Fans.
This is Hayes Carline for Kingfish Pest Control, a local family-owned business that's been chosen as the exclusive pest control provider for the brand new state-of-the-art Miller Electric Performance Center. As a Kingfish customer myself, I know their effectiveness in keeping spiders, roaches, bugs, and termites out. When I trust them for my family and the Jags trust them for their business, then you can too. For the best service in town, call my friends at Kingfish Pest Control, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you. Call 904-722-1111.
Instant Keys saves the day if you've lost or broken keys. They can program new keys and remotes for nearly every make and model of vehicle at a fraction of the dealership cost. Fast, honest, and reliable locksmith service. Call Instant Keys, 722-1111.
Are you looking for a place to outfit your truck or van? It's Catlin Truck Accessories. For 105 years and 4 generations, Catlin is the name you can count on. This is Keith Catlin, and we know trucks and vans too, from Lear toppers, ladder racks, van shelving, strobe lighting, roll and lock bed covers, and everything in between. If you want quality product and great customer service, there's only one name. It's Catlin.
Who can you count on? Count on Catlin.
For 105 years, you can count on Catlin.
Don't ignore unusual aches or new pains down there. Be proactive and get screened at Ackerman Urology for common cancers of the prostate, bladder, or kidneys. Early detection is the key. With 5 locations across Northeast Florida, visit AckermanUrology.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Work it, make it, do it. Makes us all better, faster, stronger.
He's Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
Thank you to Luke Fortner for joining us earlier in the week here at the Miller Electric Center Jaguar Training Camp on Hacker After Dark. Reminder as well, whether it's myself, Joe Cowart, Rick Ballou, Hayes Carline, Mia O'Brien, we're all down there every day doing one-on-one interviews with guys, and every one of those interviews is available right now at the all-new 1010XL Jaguars on YouTube. 1010XL Jaguars on YouTube. Go there, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. You'll see every interview, all our Jaguar content right there for your viewing pleasure. 1010XL Jaguars on YouTube. And that's just part of what we do with that multimedia, man. Every night here on Hacker After Dark, along with every other show here on 1010XL, is, of course, part of the MyBookie Digital Network. On YouTube, Facebook, Twitter/X, we stream every show live for your viewing pleasure, and we certainly appreciate you tuning in, radio, app, or via the stream with the MyBookie digital platform. Coming up next, Justin Lewis of the Florida Times-Union and Jacksonville.com. We'll talk Jaguar training camp. We'll preview Saturday night against the defending world champion Kansas City Chiefs. If you missed it, Andy Reid earlier today out in Kansas City said he's going to give his starters about a quarter on Saturday night. So it looks like we will see Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce for a little bit. Trevor Lawrence is expected to play a series or 2. So you figure probably the first quarter Saturday will be starters versus starters. And then we'll branch out into some of the backup and role players. But preseason football has arrived here in Jacksonville, Kansas City, and the Jaguars Saturday night. Justin Lewis, Jacksonville.com, and the Florida Times-Union to look at training camp and preview that ball game with me next on a Wednesday evening in the city of Jacksonville. We're glad you're with us. It's Hacker After Dark on 1010XL and on 92.5 FM.
The home of the home team you grew up with.
Big play. Look at the release by Jimmy Smith as he then clears the rest of the Dolphins secondary. And wow, talk about deja vu.
1010XL.
Hey there, Weekend Warriors. It's Matt Hayes. Sick of that slice? Tired of those 3 putts? What if I told you your handicap isn't about your swing, it's about your weight? Why not take strokes off your game by taking pounds off your frame with the Waco 180? We're talking 10 strokes off by August, getting your tour card by September, winning your first major, year 1. Think about it. Fame, fortune, and most important, winning $5 off your buddy because you, sir, are closest to the pin. Taking strokes off your game is just about 40 pounds away at Awaken180weightloss.com. Awaken 180 does not guarantee an immediate 10 strokes off your score, receiving a tour card, or the ability to control the weather. Individual results may vary. Your newfound athleticism might cause jealousy among your foursome, leading to accusations of steroid use. Awaken is not responsible for defending your honor in the clubhouse. Awaken 180 cannot guarantee that your newfound golf prowess will lead to a sponsorship deal, but we can't not guarantee it either. Awaken 180 is not responsible for any dramatic fist pumps or unsolicited golf tips you give to strangers. Awaken 180 does not offer refunds for any lost wagers made on your improved golf game. Bet wisely, my friend. Strokes off your game by dropping pounds off your frame. Awaken180weightloss.com.
Hey, Russell Wilson here, and I know how important exercise is.
It's essential. It's essential.
With Play 60, United Way and the NFL are helping kids stay active and play at least 60 minutes a day.
Healthy kids. Healthy kids.
But what this place needs is you. To donate or volunteer, go to unitedway.org/play60 because great things happen when we live united.
Donate.
Are you guys going to do that every time?
Yes, of course. Yes, of course.
Brought to you by United Way and the Ad Council.
Bueller Air and Plumbing presents Are You Cool?
Today's challenger, an asphalt marketer from Jacksonville, Florida. Meet Sheldon Fish. Today's category, air conditioner repair experts in Jacksonville, Florida.
Oh, I bet it's going to be Bueller.
Your question. Unlike Jacksonville, the Sahara Desert has a complete lack of air conditioner repair experts. What kind of camels do they ride?
That's not really a question about air conditioner repair.
5 seconds.
But that's a camel question.
Pick a camel, Sheldon.
Arabian dromedary.
That's right, Sheldon. Like the majestic Arabian dromedary, the skilled technicians at Bueller Air and Plumbing can repair any make and model of air conditioner the same day you call, making sure you are cool.
They don't spit, do they?
No, but Steve, the new guy, has a bit of a hump.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
Expert Automotive is ready to keep you cool this summer. Right now, get an AC inspection or a system cooling checkup. Your choice for only $19.99. Their gift to you this summer is $50 off any service and a free tire rotation with any service. Their ASE certified technicians can keep your car cool without breaking the bank this summer. Call them at 374-3373 to get an appointment today. Expert Automotive. They never sell greed, only what you need.
Any action? Find more fish on the Ring Power Fishing Forecast Show.
That's a big redfish, guys.
With Captain Kevin Faber.
Oh, my gosh.
Brought to you by Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
Thursday nights at 6
on 1010XL AM.
Who won the very first Stanley Cup in hockey? The answer coming up.
We all know that saving money on items like homeowners insurance can be done. Ask your agent about the new Southern Oak Insurance deductible options. It'll save money for you.
Our family protecting yours. Southern Oak Insurance.
The Montreal Hockey Club defeated the Ottawa Hockey Club in 1894 and won the very first Stanley Cup.
Southern Oak Insurance. Our family protecting yours.
Hey, Hickett here. I want to talk skin along with my friends at Beaches Dermatology, reminding you to wear your sunscreen. Football season is back, baby. And with that, days under that bright sun. So when you load up that truck for the game day tailgate, or the chairs for your kids' flag games, or even the boat heading downtown to watch our Jags, make sure you bring the screen. Sunscreen, that is. It's a must here in Duval. But if you have any concerns right now, give Beaches Dermatology a call online at beachesdermatology.com.
Prosser here for Lifetime Enclosures and Lifetime Flooring. Football season finally upon us, and with that comes cooler weather. If you've been wanting to upgrade your outdoor living space, you should call the experts at Lifetime Enclosures now. From glass lanais to screened-in enclosures, Lifetime Enclosures and Flooring is the best in the business, so give them a call today. Lifetime Enclosures and Lifetime Flooring. Showroom just off Phillips Highway. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
If you're ready to transform your yard with a fence that stands out, elevate your curb appeal with Superior Fence and Rail. Superior takes pride in offering first-class service, friendly installers, and unmatched fence products. Mention this ad and get $250 off your next project. It's time to get off the fence and call today.
When you're on the fence, about a fence, SuperiorFenceandRail.com.
Baseball
Baseball is back. Jumbo Shrimp Baseball, presented by FIS, takes the field this season at 1-1 Financial Ballpark as the AAA affiliate of the Miami Marlins. Tickets start at just $5, fireworks after every Friday home game, and kids run the bases after every Sunday game. JackShrimp.com. Jumbo Shrimp Baseball, affordable, family fun.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, another great guest on the Garber Auto Mall phone line. Hello. We can wiggle it.
Back here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville, we are glad you are with us. The Jaguars and the Chiefs, Saturday night at Everbank Stadium to kick off the preseason for both teams. The Jaguars have been in camp a little over 2 weeks now. A lot has transpired in those 2 weeks. What have we seen to this point? What are the expectations for preseason week number 1? Let's go to Justin Lewis of the Florida Times-Union, Jacksonville.com. He does a terrific job covering the Jacksonville Jaguars, and he's always kind enough to join us here on 1010XL. Justin, how you doing, man?
I'm doing all right. Thanks for having me on.
Hey, Justin, we always appreciate the time. All right, we'll kind of go individually in a moment, but here we are, 2.5 weeks into camp. Just a broad overview, your thoughts on what you've seen out at the Miller Electric Center to this point.
Honestly, it's been a pretty solid camp. Trevor had a couple of turnovers early, and then he seemed to pick back up his rhythm and start getting his rhythm down with receivers. And, I guess my main take has been that Ryan Nielsen's defense has looked really good to this point. It was kind of interesting that he elected to go with the no depth chart for this offseason and kind of carried that into training camp. But it gives guys a chance to, stand out in cases that they probably wouldn't if they went a different direction with that. So, that's kind of the big thing that I've seen thus far in camp. Ryan Nielsen's defense, it should be really good this year.
No, I agree with that. And to piggyback off of that, I'm curious your thoughts. I did not know what to expect from the secondary in particular. Look, I figured Tyson Campbell was going to be pretty good. Honestly, I wasn't really sure what they were going to get out of Ronald Darby and then certainly the young guys after that. Now, it's obviously very, very early, but to me, Justin, the secondary has really stood out in a much more positive light than I expected coming in. What's your thought there?
Oh, no, I agree with you. When you look back at the secondary last year and, some of the decisions that they were going to have to make in the secondary at this point in camp, and you look at it this year, it just looks like a much improved group. Ronald Darby, he has, as you said, has been a surprise, and it probably shouldn't have been a surprise, but he just didn't do much in off-season minicamp and things like that. But yesterday he had a really good pass breakup down the field. He's been one of the more consistent guys. And then, like you said, there are a lot of young guys in that secondary group. Trey Prince has been coming on pretty well. Jarian Jones seems like he's just a ball of energy. Every time he's near the football, he makes a play. The secondary has been really good. And then I think the most impressive part of that, it isn't just the defensive backs and the cornerbacks, but it carries over into the safeties. Dewey Wingard, before he got hurt, 2 picks. Andre Cisco yesterday, 3 interceptions in 1 practice. And then you look at guys like Daniel Thomas, who is known more for his special teams play. He's coming in and he's getting pass breakups and nearly getting interceptions. So I just think that defense and that secondary looks really good this year. And again, it is early, but it was one of the positions that you wondered about, and they've done a nice job so far.
Justin Lewis, Florida Times-Union, Jacksonville.com, here with us on 1010XL in Jacksonville. Justin, final thought on the defense. Certainly want to spend a majority of the time with you on the offense, but I try not to read too much into training camp, too much into the preseason, because goodness knows I've been bit in the past by getting too high on something and then having it not materialize in the regular season. But I got to tell you, call it an attitude, a moxie, whatever verbiage you want to use. Maybe just call it the Ryan Nielsen effect. this defense is out there making plays, and not only are they making plays, Justin, they're letting the offense know they're making plays, all right? I mean, there is, again, an attitude, a bravado about this defense. Probably a lot of that led to the scuffle on Monday at the Miller Electric Center, which was a pretty good one by training camp standards. But what's your thought on that attitude the defense has shown so far here in camp?
Yeah, I think it's an attitude that was needed. You look at the end of last season, I think the only way to put it is it seemed like guys had checked out. I mean, that game against Tennessee, guys aren't in their gaps. Guys are letting Derrick Henry do whatever he wants to do, which he would do anyway, but it just gives them even more incentive when you are out there looking like you don't care. So, yeah, I think that attitude, I think you're 100% right. Ryan Nielsen is, at the top of it, and he passes that along to his coaches. If you look at Chris Richard out there talking to defensive backs, he gets amped up. Matt House with the linebackers, he gets amped up. And that goes right to players like Josh Allen, who's a leader of the defense, and Foye Oluokun, who's the leader of the defense. And they're going to let you know when they're making a play. Foye is going to let you know when he stops a run, even if it's not tackle, even if he's not tackling to the ground, he's going to let you know, hey, I was there. So I think it's an attitude that was needed. It's been welcomed by the team. And if it continues, again, I think this defense might be pretty good this year.
Justin, as we shift to the offensive side of the ball, what's been your opinion on Trevor Lawrence 2 weeks into camp?
I think it was a bit of an overreaction by a lot of us in the media with his turnovers early, and the coaching staff tried to tell us that it was an overreaction. They're still in their install part of camp. They're not scheming against the defense, so to speak. And I think that he is trying out throws, and he's trying to get timing down with Gabe Davis, Devin Duvernay, and Brian Thomas Jr. I think that when you lose 3 starting receivers, if you include Jamal Agnew into Calvin Ridley and Zay Jones leaving the team this offseason, I think it should have been expected that there would be some early struggles, but he responded pretty well. He's, yesterday he had an interception to Andre Sisco that was pretty bad, but I mean, it's training camp, and Doug has said that multiple times. Press has said that multiple times. That they just want to see, hey, can you make this throw? Hey, what do you like about this play? What do you not like about this play? And then they can address it from there.
Couple more for Justin Lewis, Florida Times Union and Jacksonville.com. Justin, the guys Trevor's throwing the ball to, as you mentioned, a lot of newness in that wide receiver room. I'm curious your opinion on the main 3 guys, obviously Christian Kirk, Gabe Davis, and Brian Thomas. And then to me, one of the more compelling storylines beginning Saturday night is the end of that wide receiver room. Who will be, wide receiver 6, potentially, if they keep 7, whether it's Elijah Cooks, Joshua Cephas, Tim Jones, Denzel Mims has done some nice things. Certainly going to be some battles there at the tail end of that wide receiver room.
Oh, no, I agree. The thing is, with the new kickoff rules, special teams has always been the way for guys to make that room. Tim Jones is a good proponent of it. Elijah Cooks is the same way. I wonder if they're going to opt to look for bigger guys with for special teams purposes, and if that means that they don't need to keep extra receivers at the end. Last year they kept 7. Maybe this year they keep 5 or 6. But in that battle, a guy like Elijah Cooks, who's getting reps with the starters and is continuing to build on the relationship that he had from last year with Trevor Lawrence, I think a guy like that kind of stands out. And then you bring in his size and athleticism. I mean, that's something that they have in Gabe and Brian, but it always helps to have even more of it. Obviously last year guys went down, and last year Elijah Cooks was one of the guys who could have stepped into that role. Maybe he wasn't comfortable in the offense. A second year in the offense might do him well. So I do think he's the guy to kind of watch. Joshua Cephas is another one. He's been pretty good, and it's going to be a battle. I mean, they're going to have 3 games to show what they have. They're going to have the joint practices with Tampa next week, and it's for sure going to be a battle in that wide receiver room.
See, the curious thing to me, and again, we're talking about potentially the 6th wide receiver, so let's put that into perspective, but I do think it's curious. To me, it's Cooks versus Cephas, at least right now. And I don't think you can put either one of those guys on the practice squad because you're probably going to lose them. So it's going to be really telling to me if who they keep between those two guys and if they try to hide the other guy on the practice squad. But again, I don't think that's going to work because I think some other team will come get him.
Right. Yeah, I agree with you. I think both of them have a lot of talent. And again, you're talking about size with Cook. You're talking about the same with Cephas. Like, these are guys who can make an impact if their number is called against defensive backs. So it's definitely going to be interesting to see how that battle plays out. And again, special teams is something to look for. We'll get our first look at it on Saturday night with the new kickoff rules. What guys are out there? What guys are, in those gunner positions that aren't gunner positions anymore? They mixed it up in camp, so we'll get a good look at it on Saturday, hopefully.
Granted, they've had like 5 padded practices, I think. So, I mean, it's not a big sample size. That's really the only way you can tell about the offensive line. That was certainly a question coming in. Now, unfortunately, they've had a couple of injuries. Thankfully, nothing major. Anton Harrison's been in the protocol. Hopefully he gets back later in the week. We know about Cam Robinson. He did come back after a shoulder. Ezra Cleveland, they're taking their time with him. I believe Doug Peterson said that was a heel situation. But with all the questions of the O-line coming in, are you confident that if it is Robinson, Cleveland, Morse, Sheriff, and Harrison to start the year, that's an offensive line that they can win with?
I have to see it still. Like you said, there have already been a lot of injuries. But I do think they have depth pieces this year, which is something that was kind of shaky last year. That's why they had to go out and trade for Cleveland. I think they do have depth pieces that could come in if needed, because you're always going to have injuries on that offensive line. It's just the nature of the game. Those guys are banging all game, every game. So I wonder if that lineup is better this year. The starting lineup is better this year, but where I do think they've gotten better is having those reserve pieces. And you take somebody like Luke Fortner, who was starting, and now you bring in Mitch Morse. And if you need a guard, Luke can also play guard. If you need a center, Luke plays center. And that's something that Press talked about the other day with some of those younger players. They're going to have to show off their versatility because of those injuries.
I completely agree. You could do a lot worse than offensive linemen 6 and 7 than Walker Little and Luke Fortner. Those guys have played a lot of football. Heck, Blake Hance has played in regular season games. Obviously, Tyler Shatley as well. We didn't even mention 4th-round pick Javon Foster. And then Cooper Hodges, who people love. Unfortunately, he's just had some injury issues. So there is a lot of depth. And much like wide receiver, they're going to have some tough cuts along that offensive line. Final moments, Justin Lewis, Jacksonville.com, and the Florida Times-Union. All right, Justin, you've been down there basically every day, man. Give Jaguar fans for Saturday night maybe one guy on offense and maybe one guy on defense that don't get the coverage, but they've shown out to you and you're excited to see maybe an under-the-radar player or two perform on Saturday night.
I don't know how underrated my offensive player is going to be, but if I'm honest, the first player you that came to my mind when you started talking was Tank Bigsby.
Mm-hmm.
That guy has had an unbelievable offseason. His confidence just looked so low at the end of last season. The team, his usage went down. His numbers weren't that great. But this year, every chance he gets to break out for a long run again, not padded or if it's light contact or whatever it may be, he's taking it. He's going all the way to the end zone, and when he crosses the goal line, he's celebrating. I think he has a lot to prove this year. He's had a really good off season from everything the coaches have told us. I think he's going to be pretty good. Defensively, I don't know. That secondary, I want to go back to that, and I want to say Christian Braswell has come on really strongly these last few weeks. He was a guy who missed his entire rookie season, basically redshirted his rookie season, and he's been playing a lot out of the slot. He's had to guard Christian Kirk in a lot of situations, and from what I've seen, he's been one of the best players to draw that assignment. Most guys can't stick with Christian for anything, and Braswell has done a decent job, even gotten a couple of pass breakups on him. So I think those two guys, two rookies from last year, will be the two guys that everyone should keep an eye on.
I love the Tank Bigsby pick. Christian Braswell, I agree with you. He's had some very good practices as well. It'll be curious to see how that corner room shakes out behind Tyson Campbell and behind Ronald Darby. All right, Justin, Jacksonville.com, the Florida Times-Union, you, Demetrius, Smitter, Gene, you guys are down there every day. What can people look forward to in the coming days as we get ready for kickoff on Saturday night?
Just more of the same, I would say. You know, we try our best to get you covered with everything. Smitter has his practice reports. I know sometimes people don't really like what might come out of that, especially the one with the Trevor Lawrence after he had that really bad practice. But hey, this is our jobs. We're here to inform you of what we see, and that's all I can really say.
Yeah, Smitter ruffled some feathers, no question about it with that headline, but he reported the truth. There's no question about that. Justin Lewis, Florida Times-Union and Jacksonville.com. Justin, I know you're busy, man. Thank you for the time. I'll see you down at camp later this week.
All right, see you. Thank you for having me on again.
Now the cool down with Donovan Air, Electric and Plumbing, keeping Jack's cool since '87.
And thank you to Justin Lewis of the Florida Times-Union, Jacksonville.com for joining us tonight here on Hacker After Dark, talking Jaguar training camp as we are now inside of 72 hours until the preseason opener for the Jacksonville Jaguars. They will take on the defending world champion Kansas City Chiefs on Saturday night. Of course, you'll hear the game right here on 1010XL. Look, Soren Petro, my guy out in Kansas City, Sports Radio 810, he's going to join us later in the week. I texted him yesterday, asked about the starters for the Chiefs. He said normally Andy Reid will play his offensive starters about a series in the first preseason game. So if that holds to form, maybe we will see a little bit of Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, and crew early in the game on Saturday night. Nevertheless, it'll be a good test for the Jaguars as the defending world champions come in for the preseason opener for both. We obviously spent a majority of our time tonight on the Jacksonville Jaguars. Again, Justin Lewis, Florida Times-Union, Jacksonville.com. We certainly appreciate his time this evening. Thank you to Jason Cole of the 33rd team. Jason Cole is a Pro Football Hall of Fame voter. He is the author of many sports-related books, and he's just a guy that I enjoy having on because he's going to shoot you straight, man. He's going to tell you what he thinks. He's not going to sugarcoat a whole lot. And Jason was pretty high on some aspects of the Jaguars, had some questions on some aspects of the Jaguars, and I think that's fair. Look, I think, all the talk about Houston being the favorite, let's be honest, they probably are the favorite coming into the year. Now, does that mean they're going to be the favorite once the season kicks off and we have a couple of weeks under our belt? No, of course not. But Houston is very similar to Jacksonville heading into the 2023 season. Everybody loved Jacksonville because of what they did in the 2022 playoffs. Likewise, everybody loves Houston because of what they did in the 2023 playoffs. Now, the one difference is Houston went out and they added a lot to that team that made that run last year. Remember, Jacksonville just kind of ran it back with the same group of guys. That turned out to be an incorrect thing to do, a problem to do, whereas Houston went out and got Joe Mixon, went out and got Stephon Diggs, went out and got Danielle Hunter, among others. So it'll be curious to see what the Texans do. Of course, Indianapolis gets Anthony Richardson back. We'll see what happens there. They got injury concerns up in Indy. They already lost Samson Ebukam, excuse me, their leading sack artist from last year. He had 9.5 sacks last year. He's already out for the year with an Achilles. And one of their wide receiving weapons, Josh Downs, went down earlier today in practice. By indications, it didn't look good. We don't really have official word yet, but here we are 2 weeks into camp in Indianapolis, already battling some injuries there. And then with Tennessee, who really knows, right? I mean, they spent a ton of money in free agency. They think they're going to be good. I think they're going to be improved. But again, they got some questions on that roster along the offensive line is one of the big question marks the Titans have coming into the year. So, again, thank you to Jason Cole, Pro Football Hall of Fame voter. The 33rd team is where you catch his terrific work. And then we brought you some Jaguar one-on-ones from the past couple of days. Thank you to offensive lineman Luke Fortner for stopping by. We had Caleb Johnson, the linebacker. And then earlier today, down at the Miller Electric Center, I talked with Terrell Edmonds. Terrell Edmonds is a really interesting story. Quite frankly, he's almost, I hate to say it like this, but almost kind of an afterthought. But here's a guy with over 75 career starts, a former first-round pick, played a lot of games in a Pittsburgh Steelers uniform, spent time last year and started last year for both Philadelphia and Tennessee in spot duty. He's a guy that I think you need to look at Saturday night. He's a guy that could absolutely make this 53-man roster, particularly with the injury to Andrew Dewey Wingard, which we still don't have definite word as to how long that's going to last. So, again, Terrell Edmonds is a guy. They signed Adrian Amos yesterday, the Jaguars did. I was telling Terrell after the interview, between Edmonds and Amos at the safety position, the Jaguars have brought in over 200 career starts at safety between those two veterans. And I'll be curious to see what happens with those guys over the next couple of weeks as we enter the preseason football schedule. We will be back tomorrow night on a Thursday, and we will do it all over again beginning at 8 o'clock. And as always, Luke Fortner, Caleb Johnson, Terrell Edmonds, we certainly thank the Jaguars PR staff, John and Amanda and Dylan and Jacob and Emily, certainly, for always helping us out here on Hacker After Dark. Speaking of Dylan, another Dylan Denmark was your producer tonight. Dylan, great job as always. I'm the Hacker Ryan Green. And again, Jacksonville, thank you for spending part of your Wednesday evening with us right here on Hacker After Dark, on 1010XL, and on 92.5 FM. So for all of us here on HAD, have an absolutely terrific remainder of your Wednesday evening, and we will talk to you again tomorrow night on a Thursday beginning at 8 o'clock. Until then, good night, Jacksonville.
There's a new one-stop shop for all things Gators. Subscribe to the 1010XL Gators YouTube channel. Up-to-the-minute updates, instant reaction from Gainesville, plus the same 1010XL Gators podcast you've grown to know. And check out 1010XL Gators on YouTube.
Now you can watch 1010XL shows all day on X, Facebook, and YouTube. Brought to you by MyBookie. Experience Vegas from the comfort of your phone anytime, anywhere. Sign up today. Use promo code 1010XL.
Blue here for the Blue Crab House, located right off of San Jose. It's on Jewington Creek Road. They've been around since 1996. Indoor-outdoor dining. Also, takeout is available at the Blue Crab House. Open 4:30 to 9.